Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the San Francisco Association of Realtors Global Business Council's Real Estate Passport to Europe and South America, a webinar series hosted by the members of the GBC for the greater real estate community in the Bay Area. Today, we will be discussing international payments and mortgages and two development projects, one in Panama and one in Portugal. And as you may or may not know, the GBC is a community within the SFAR for international real estate professionals and investors looking to do business together. We are thrilled to bring you all together to hear from our speakers about the real estate environment in their countries and making international payments. So this webinar will be divided into two parts: the international payments and mortgages, and then foreign real estate investment opportunities. So you'll hear from myself, Amanda Dunn of Currencies Direct. You'll hear from Robert Chadwick of America Mortgages about international payment solutions and mortgage lending, respectively. I'll then turn it over to Valentina Sovianic of Portugal. She'll tell you about her investment opportunity. And we'll also speak with the Grupo Shahani of Panama about their project's details as well. So everyone will introduce themselves to you shortly, and you'll hear about the real estate markets in these countries, as well as the forecast for local realtors and international buyers. And just a reminder, when the speakers present, you will have the audience to submit your questions in the chat. These will be collected, and we will ask the questions to the presenters during the Q&A portion of the webinar. Great, so to begin, let's discuss international payment solutions from two different perspectives, the first being international mortgage lending, the second being cash investments. So I'm going to let Robert begin, and then I will touch upon international payment solutions for those crossing borders. But first, take it away, Robert.
Thank you, Amanda. And thanks, everybody, for joining. My name is Robert Chadwick with America Mortgages and Global Mortgage Group. We are a global brokerage focusing on people that live outside of the country that they're purchasing or refinancing the properties in. So our biggest market is certainly the US. We are a direct lender in the US. We lend our own funds, and it is only for people living outside of the US looking to obtain US mortgages. So that's our main market. But I know in this particular webinar, you're focusing on Europe and I believe Central and South America. So I'll just kind of touch on our capabilities for that. Now, specifically, we have country managers in every country, and there's a lot of coverage for the loan product. So I'll just kind of give a very, I guess, overview of what we can do and what our capabilities are. However, if you do have questions or you want more specifics, I can put you in touch with the country manager or the area manager in the area that you're looking. We have offices right now in 12 different countries, and we can provide mortgage loans in most major markets. If we're not doing it ourselves, then we normally work with a regulated partner. But what makes us very unique, for the US, specifically, but globally, is our focus is for the type of clients that likely that you have. It's either going to be people that are relocating to these countries or people that want to buy holiday homes or even investment properties. So as that's our expertise and that's all we do, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I don't think that anybody does this type of lending in this kind of scope any better than what Global Mortgage Group and America Mortgages does. So just to give you an idea of the countries that we're currently able to provide financing in, of course, Singapore, which is where I'm based and where I'm calling from now, Hong Kong, Japan, few parts in Asia like the Philippines and Thailand, very sporadic, and it can be limited on what you're able to obtain, but there certainly is financing available. If you go into Europe, the UK is probably our biggest market in Europe, but we also have capabilities to lend in Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, and again, most of the major markets in Europe. places like, we get a lot of requests in Croatia, more of these destination holiday places. Unfortunately, we don't have any ability for that, but we are certainly adding markets as we go. We have an entire team. That's all they do. If you're looking down in Central and South America, we can do Panama, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, and we should actually be launching Mexico, I think, within the next few weeks. So our capabilities are quite broad, as you can see. And I'll go over the products for Panama, because I know that's going to be addressed in this webinar. Now, again, specifically, there is an area manager for that region. So if there's any real specific questions on there, I'll try to answer it, but I may not have all of the knowledge. So in Panama, we can go all the way up to $1 million US for a loan amount. The interest rate will range somewhere between 7.5% to 9%, depending on various factors. The qualifying requirements would be 1 or 2 years of your tax returns for your home country, or potentially even an income letter from a CPA or an accountant, and along with 12 to 24 months of bank statements to support that. We do have a debt to income ratio for these programs. So likely if you're buying it for a second home, you're going to have to take what would be your housing expense in, I would say, San Francisco or the country that you're in, plus the housing expense that you're going to have in Panama. And then we're looking at, say, a 30 to 45% debt service coverage on this. So it gives you an idea nationwide. So it's, you can do it in the various cities in Panama. The properties can either be primary or investment. The maximum level of this is apparently 2 stories. And the borrowers themselves can be either salaried or self-employed. So that will give you the idea of Panama. All of the other countries that we have tear sheets of all that. So if you are interested in specific countries, we can certainly assist. If you are a realtor in the Bay Area and you deal with a lot of foreign nationals that want U.S. Mortgage financing, that's really our specialty. That's what we focus on. So we can certainly assist with that as well. So I think that's really all I have to cover on this. I'm happy to answer any questions towards the end, and then we can discuss the options that are available.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robert. I saw that there was a question there, so we will definitely go ahead and add those into the Q&A portion. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your questions in the chat. And we will go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into sending money abroad in the form of cash. And I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see just a quick little slide deck. Go. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? I'm going to assume so. Great. So as I mentioned, I'm Amanda Dunn, and I work for Currencies Direct. Currencies Direct is a foreign exchange and international payments company. We specialize in real estate transactions, and we help buyers and sellers move funds in the most cost-effective and efficient way. We were established in 1996 and have been around since in many territories around the world, strategically placed in countries where a lot of expats live. We service tens of thousands of clients each year, and I like to highlight our 5-star Trustpilot rating, which we work very hard to maintain. And for those unfamiliar with Trustpilot, it is the leading international product review company. Of course, we deal with all the major currencies and can help you and your clients get the best exchange rate and create sizable savings when making international transactions. So to touch on how we can specifically help you in the real estate world, There are a couple different ways. So surrounding your business with international clients is our main focus when it comes to talking with realtors. Our objective is to help your clients get their deals done and save money. So we do this by having the best foreign exchange rates possible. When compared to banks, we typically save our clients between 2 and 5% better. That's because we simply give you the indicative exchange rate plus a very small markup. There are no transaction fees and no other kind of hidden fees associated, simply the exchange rate. You can, of course, rest assured that every dollar is going to be protected. We've got enhanced fraud protection and also insurance on all payments. We also give our clients a suite of FX tools that most retail clients do not receive when they're using their banks or similar other money transfer companies. We can talk about that here on this slide. So the wonderful products that we offer are the multi-currency wallets. This allows you to essentially hold several different currencies at once without having to convert it, and able to maintain it in one central place. So let's say if you have someone who's looking to buy in San Francisco and they're coming from Canada or Europe, they can convert their cash at the time that they are considering these purchases. And if they don't quite like the exchange rate or they haven't quite found the right house, they can hold and store it in the account when they are ready and then make the transfer. We also offer forward contracts where a client can lock into an exchange rate for up to 2 years. So for example, if your client thinks the euro dollar exchange rate is the best it's going to be for a while, but they're still looking at houses and they haven't gotten their offer accepted, they can go ahead and lock in the exchange rate, put a small deposit down, and then they've got about 2 years to find the house that they want, to make the exchange and to pay, to get it out of their Currencies Direct account. And finally, we've got limit orders and market orders, which we see many people take advantage of in the real estate world. This is kind of the inverse of a forward, where, for example, if a client thinks the exchange rate will improve, they can let us know the target rate that they'd like. We'll monitor it closely, and we'll monitor the client whenever this rate becomes available and execute it for them. So how can Currencies Direct help your business? It's pretty simple. We're going to help you get your deals done with overseas customers, providing them amazing service and all the benefits I just highlighted. We also offer you, the realtor, a RESPA-approved referral fee for bringing your clients to us, so you can create an additional source of revenue to each transaction your clients do. That's really all I have for you. Thank you very much for your attention. Again, you can submit any questions in the chat, or you can feel free to send me an email at amanda.dunn@currenciesdirect.com, or give me a call, shoot me a text, 415-840-4342. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to give it over to Valentina.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you for inviting me, San Francisco Association for Realtors. So I'm here to talk about Portugal, or, I guess in general, Europe, because obviously Portugal gives you access to Europe. So I'll share a deck, but I guess before I start, I just wanted to mention that it's never been easier really to set foot in Europe. There are many ways to access the market. There are people that are investing in real estate or other types of investments, and they can really tap into the opportunity that growing European markets offer. There are people that are moving to Portugal. We see a lot of people from the US relocating to the country. They're either retiring or they're looking for different opportunities all over Europe, including Portugal. And we also have people that are using the European Union as the Plan B insurance policy for them, their children, and their family by applying for the Portuguese Golden Visa that gives them rights and benefits that every European citizen have without ever moving to Europe, ever moving to Portugal. So I guess I'm here today to present to you two different business opportunities. One is Angel Living. It's our a service apartment concept. And then in the second part of my presentation, I will talk a little bit about the Portuguese Golden Visa that, contrary to what many of you think, not just you here, but I know a lot of the people in the market think that it's over, but it's not over. So the Golden Visa is still on. It has been changed, but it's still possible to get the Portuguese passport without ever living in Portugal. So I'll share my deck. Just give me a second. And I hope you're able to see it. If somebody can give me a sign.
We can
Yep,
see
we
it.
can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so Ando Living. Ando is a collection of service apartments born in Portugal. Ando actually means I go in Portuguese and symbolizes movement. Basically, if you ask me to summarize what Ando Living is, I can say that it's your neighborhood wherever you go. Essentially, what we've noticed during COVID and also after COVID, that a lot of people change the way they live and the way they travel. So they would move from one place to another, maybe spend a couple of weeks or a couple of months in a different location. They would blend business and leisure, and then they would struggle to find friends and family and neighborhood that they were used to when they were back home. So great opportunities of travel, experiencing new cultures, but still that struggle of not quite feeling at home. So with Ando Living, we're giving these global citizens an opportunity to feel at home wherever they go. We create neighborhoods. So in the center of the neighborhood, we have the clubhouse where everything happens. And at a walking distance from the clubhouse, we have houses, we call them. These are apartment buildings with no services or limited services that are integrated into the neighborhood. So people can walk from the house to the clubhouse or vice versa and enjoy that neighborhood feel. Our clubhouses, they're the heart of Ando Living, and they're made different. So we offer a series of services, but the idea is really to blend business and leisure and give access to a community of global citizens, like the people that are buying into this concept. We have a concept hub. There's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's a concept store, a coffee shop. We have a cool working space where you can do business, and it's in beautiful locations. And obviously the design is very sophisticated. So it's not, you don't have to imagine meeting rooms with a little sign that says meeting rooms. No, the spaces are kind of the extension of a living room, and they're fully equipped and beautiful to work in. We also have rentable spaces. So they're designed private rooms that you can rent for yourself with equipped kitchens, if you want to organize a birthday party, for example. And then we have a wellness area that is stylish and comfy. It involves a pool, a gym, sometimes a spa, depending on the location. And it's really serving the whole of a neighborhood. We work with an amazing interior designer company called Abrocco. They've been voted 7 best in the world for service apartments, and they're the ones designing our spaces to be beautiful, comfortable, and really stimulating for the community. Our first neighborhood was born in Lisbon. You can see a number of buildings here that are already operating. There's some that are not, they did not fit the slide, but there's some others that are also operating in the market, and a few of them that are currently under construction. We're not limiting ourselves to Portugal. We're currently in Portugal, but also in Turkey. We're going to open in Spain in a couple of weeks, and then we're expanding to basically the Mediterranean countries. So Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, Turkey, and also Dubai. And then the 3 business centers of Europe, which are London, Paris, and Berlin. We're just closing actually a deal in London that will allow us to expand in 2025 also to London. And the idea is to be all over these most vibrant places that people generally visit. So the business centers where you normally go and meet your colleagues or business partners, and then you go to the south of Europe to enjoy a good weather, good food, and lots of good experiences. So in terms of, I explained to you a little bit the concept. So I want to, talk to you a little bit about the opportunity of owning an Ando Living apartment. There are several benefits, and you'll see that it's pretty unique compared to what exists currently in the market. So Ando Living offers you freehold ownership. So I just want to clarify, this is not a timeshare. So when you buy a unit within Ando Living, you buy a specific apartment, you hold the title deed to that property, and you can sell it to whomever you want, whenever you want. So it is not a timeshare. You can stay as long as you like in that property, so from 0 to 365 days or any time in between. So you're the one in charge. You decide if you want to use it as a primary residence or an investment. When you're not there, the apartments are generating returns. So we take care of all of the rentals for you. So it's a turnkey solution. Ando Living, as a hospitality company that has been on the market for quite a long time, we take care of absolutely everything, and you just collect basically the return in your bank account. The returns can go they kind of go between 6 to 7% net for the owner. We have some projects that have exceeded that as well. So we have had up to 8% net yields for the owner. But of course, depending on how much you use, the more you use, the less you will earn. You can cash out on this investment, or you can use the returns that your apartment is generating to stay in other Andor living locations all over Europe. So that's why I like to mention that this is not a timeshare, because it does sound like it, but it's structured in a different way to maintain your ownership and also give you some of the benefits the timeshare has. So you can basically use the income generated and stay in apartments in Spain, London, Italy, tomorrow, Dubai, etc. So you can have this multi-house concept, even though you're holding ownership over one unit. Of course, one of the benefits that you're part of the neighborhood of people like you. We have 44 different countries that have invested in this. People from 44 different countries have invested in this concept. Over 600 investors so far, and we're happy to be, a diverse community of global citizens, that they kind of understand each other when it comes to traveling, when it comes to lifestyle. So it's a very interesting atmosphere to have. And then the point number 6 is, really, we believe that serviced apartments are the future of flexible living. These are apartments with all of the services that are fully furnished. They have a touristic apartment license, which means that they're protected from the government, from the regulatory risk of the government's preventing rentals in the future. The buildings that we own and sell, they are endowed with a touristic license, the whole of the building. So that means it's similar to a hotel license. It kind of determines the usage of the building. And it's really an asset that will be interesting to have in the future once the government decide what they're going to do with all the short-term rentals. Here I can show you just fairly quickly, but for those of you that are interested, I can send you more information on the projects. We have a couple of them that are currently offered for sale. They're normally under construction. So Alfama Club is going to take another 2 years to complete. Yes, 56 apartments. It's a clubhouse, so it features all of the services that you see on the pictures and more. These are touristic apartments, and of course, net yield. We also offer a fixed yield that can go between 4 and 4.5%, depending on the usage. And then we expect a 6% variable net yield for the owner on these properties. Here, there is another project that I can show you. This is Santos House. So this is not a clubhouse. It will have limited services, a wellness center on the ground floor, but it is at proximity from other clubhouses in Lisbon, 3 of them, actually. So the delivery is going to be in January 2025. We have 33 apartments, and we've sold so far 20. So there's 13 apartments available. Similar story with the net yield, either 4 or 4.5% net or 6% variable. But given the growth of rentals and average daily rates, we expect actually to exceed even these yields. And then the final project that we have currently for sale, but we're adding new buildings all the time. We'll have 2 new buildings in Lisbon by the end of this year. So don't despair. If you like this concept, there will be more buildings to sell. And this is a building in Porto, very interesting project in the pedestrian area in central Porto. We have 1 unit available for sale. This project has been delivered, and it's a very good example of what we can do. So the unit that we have left has a lovely private garden of nearly 600 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom apartment at 545,000 euros, and then we are delivering 7.5% net yield to the owner after 1 year of operation. So this is, I guess, an example of the kinds of projects that we have that we're selling to different markets. US is currently our largest market. We work a lot with people from California, from New York, and obviously other states, and they're really interested in this whole concept of spending time in Europe, setting foot in Europe, partially or fully, maybe fully in the future, but currently they want to enjoy the opportunity that Portugal brings and use this as an investment. So there's more and more demand, and we have been selling quite well. So I'm pretty sure that there is there is a potential for the future work between us. And then finally, I can, this is an intro also for the Golden Visa, and I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about the Golden Visa. But we also have the investment management side, so you can invest in the expansion of Ando. We have already raised 67.5 million in our previous fund that was investing in Ando, and then we have a new fund called Ando Europe, targeting 50 million. We have already raised 7, and that fund is Golden Visa eligible. So I'll explain just now in a minute about the Portuguese Golden Visa opportunity. And just finally here on the Optilon Korea track record, Optilon Korea is the company behind the brand Ando Living. We have diverse team, from different countries, France, Turkey. These are people that have chosen Portugal as their homeland. So they're normally not from Portugal, but they saw opportunity and moved to Portugal to build a business there. You can see some of the results that we did. Total 39 projects across all of Europe, 1.8 billion in gross development value, over 1 million square meters private area, and 7 funds advertised and managed so far. So I will just tell you a little bit about the Portuguese Golden Visa. Just give me a second to switch to my Golden Visa deck. But if I'm running out of time, do let me know, because I can.
You're good on time, Valentina. Thanks. And just a reminder to everyone, if you have questions, you can go ahead and please submit them to the chat.
All right. So I'm sharing the deck, and apologies, I've had a little bit of a technical issue, so I'm using a device that I'm not supposed to use. So bear with me. All right. So the Portuguese Golden Visa, I'm actually opening the guide here that we have printed and that we show to our clients. So I'm going to pretend, that you're a client in front of me, and I think it's always good to show the actual tools that we use to explain. Obviously, the first part is what we've covered already, which is about the Optilon Korea. But I just wanted to, touch base on the Portuguese Golden Visa program. So as I said, it is still on. The program has suffered changes last year in October. Until October 2023, it was possible to acquire real estate and get the Portuguese Golden Visa. Today, it is no longer possible. So the government has decided to remove the real estate component, the real estate investment, as qualifying investment for the Golden Visa. But this doesn't mean that your clients cannot get the Golden Visa. And I guess when I deal with my clients, it is generally a compatible investment to the real estate. People that buy real estate in Portugal are often also interested in the Portuguese Golden Visa, and vice versa. Those that are interested in the Portuguese Golden Visa, they are also often interested in the real estate. So these two investments will be separate, but it is possible to obtain it, and it's still a great opportunity. We're the only country in Europe that gives passport without the person having to live there. There are other countries that do similar programs, Golden Visa, permanent residencies, but they basically allow you to hold a permanent residency in a country. But if you want to get the passport, then it's a lot more difficult, and you often need to move to that specific country and stay there for a little while until you can apply for the passport. With Portugal, that is not the case. After 5 years, you can apply for the Portuguese passport, and you're guaranteed to get it, provided that your criminal record is clean and you know some basic Portuguese, and that you can prove that you've had the Golden Visa for the past 5 years. So in terms of the Golden Visa, as I said, it's golden because you don't have to live there, and it gives you a plan B insurance policy for the future for you and your family. The passport rank of Portugal is 4th worldwide, and there's 175 countries also all over the world that you can access without a visa. It's very desirable to hold a Portuguese passport. Portugal is part of the EU. So if you hold a Portuguese passport, you're exactly the same like a French or a German or a Swede or any other nationality within the EU. So in terms of the benefits of the Golden Visa, you can see here on the screen, but I'll go through them fairly quickly. So you don't have to live in the country. You only need to come once every 2 years for 14 days. So you need to just make a little holiday in Portugal. After 5 years, you're eligible to apply for the Portuguese citizenship, and they're obliged to give it to you unless you have a criminal record and you don't speak any Portuguese. So A2 proficiency level in Portuguese is fairly basic. For those people that speak some Spanish, they can normally do it without even preparing. Golden visa for the duration of the first 5 years gives you right to live, travel without a visa in the whole of the European Union. And once you get the passport, you can do that all over the EU. So you can go live in France, you can go live in Germany, wherever you like. As I mentioned also before, you can include family members, so children, all children below 18 years of age, and also children below 26 years of age if they're still studying and they're unmarried. So it gives a lot of opportunity for many families. You can also include your parents and parents-in-law if they're older than 65, or they can be younger, but they need to be financially dependent on the main applicant. So it kind of, Portuguese Golden Visa enables investment in a stable economy. Just recently, Portuguese country was rated as better off than French economy. So Portuguese economy better than the French economy. So the country is growing and there is still a lot of opportunity. And it's also the 7th safest country in the world. So one of the reasons why we have a lot of golden visa applicants today is because people see themselves maybe moving to Europe in the future, or giving the opportunity to their children to move to Europe and enjoy a safe lifestyle. I like to joke that the only crime that we have in Portugal is pickpocketing, which we find very annoying. And we find it terrible that it happens, but then compared to other countries in the world, that's really a minor issue to have. So extremely safe. In terms of the application requirements, a person needs to be over 18 years of age. They cannot be a European Union citizen, and they need to make a minimum investment of 500,000 euros into an eligible golden visa fund, such as the Ando Europe Fund that I will go through in a second. Again, clean criminal record. They need to collect some of the documents, such as birth or marriage certificates, and then conduct the investment through a Portuguese bank account that they can open remotely from abroad. So in terms of, here, just wanted to clarify, real estate is no longer eligible. You need to go through an investment fund. It is €500,000. The investment funds need to be at least 5 years of maturity. 60% of the investments of the investment fund need to be in Portugal. And the investments cannot be aimed at real estate, either directly or indirectly. So, I mean, these were really the benefits. I'm not going to take too much, time to take you through the golden visa investment opportunity that we currently have. I can just summarize it for you that we created a fund, which is Ando Europe Fund, and is funding the expansion of Ando Living concept that I've just described. So essentially, we're using the golden visa program to fund the expansion of the concept. On the operating side, meaning the hospitality side, the fund does not invest in real estate whatsoever. And it's very solid investment opportunity. We've been doing this on our own for quite a while now. So we know that it works. It's structured as a debt fund, fairly simple structure. The fund will be lending money to operating companies for different kinds of expenses, from furniture, fixtures, OPEX, rent advance payments. And then the fund will be getting back a dividend of 7% per annum. With a small equity exposure in the Ando Living holding company, you can expect returns from 7 to 8% per annum. And the holding period is 7 years, because the 5 years of the golden visa plus a year and a half to get the Portuguese passport from your application. The actual holding period in practice is 7 years. So it is an interesting golden visa opportunity. Of course, you're not going to get rich from this opportunity, but most of our investors, when they invest for visa purposes, they are looking for something safe, something conservative, something liquid. And this fund is extremely liquid because it's structured as a debt fund, almost as a corporate bond structure. So you will be able to exit from the fund when you get your Portuguese passport fairly easily, and we satisfy those conditions of our most common investors for the Ando Europe Fund, and your clients will be able to get the Portuguese golden visa after exiting this fund fairly easily. So yeah, that would be it for me. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but of course I will send more information for those of you that are interested. We have decks on these opportunities. I'm happy to set up an individual call also to go deeper into this. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Valentina. There are a few questions, which of course we'll touch upon on the Q&A, but right now I will turn it over to the Grupa Shahani with Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to speak to you about different opportunities that we have in Panama regarding different incentives. And then I'm going to end up with a presentation of one particular project that I think you would like. First of all, Grupo Chahani is a family-owned company. We have finished more than 6,000 houses, and we have built around 500,000 square meters of industrial warehouse. We can say that we are the biggest developers in industrial parks in Panama. And we also have built commercial offices in a tower in the center of the city. So this year we are in our 50-year anniversary, and we have a lot of land bank to develop, and we do plenty of associations like in joint ventures and venture capitals for different projects. We have built more than 50 projects throughout our 50 years with different people from different countries. So basically, we are used to work with foreigners. I would say like 60% of our clients are from abroad. So basically, we are used to working with foreigners. These are some of the examples of the industrial parks that we have been developed through the years. Right now, industrial is the segment of real estate that we have that has more cap rates right now. So it's very interesting since we are appealing for nearshoring to the United States, and we are one of the few democratic countries that still live in Latin America. So basically, we also consider that we have a political stability. We just had elections this year, and every time that we have elections in every term, we do alternative of political parties. So that gives you the certainty that we are going to continue being a democratic country for a long time. As well, that since 1903, we use the US dollar currency, so you don't have any problems on transferring currencies at the time of investing in Panama if you are investing from the US. The first things that I'm going to explain to you is precisely what we call the different incentive that we have. And since we see here, there is like more than 25 different laws of different incentives that we have. And I'm going to start explaining a little bit more in depth, but especially on special zones that applies for industrial areas or industrial parks. We have a agro parks incentive. We have hub for building medicines that is very popular right now. We also have a city of knowledge. We have data center, call center, free trade zone. Then we have import and export zones, as well as high technology a special zone. We also have headquarters of multinational companies that are being established in Panama, that from here, they have different incentive and tax deductions if they establish the headquarters here. Also, if one of these companies wants to manufacture from here, then we have what we call EMA Manufacturer Multinational headquarters. So it's another type of incentive. In terms of migration, we have countries that we have called friendly countries that has an initial investment for a golden visa of $200,000. Then the qualifying investor migration visa is from $300,000, and then I'll explain that one in deep. And also we have something called digital nomads for people that are working from home and they want to make tourism in Panama and live here for around 6 to 9 months, and they can start publishing on social media about Panama. We also have a special incentive for them, as well as the retirement visa that is for people that are retired that has a minimum of $1,000 monthly on retirement allowance. And they get 25% on airplane tickets, 25% also on discounts on restaurants, and also they have 25% on discounts on terms that are medical facilities or medical issues. Then we have other type of benefits that are cinema and filming. If you decide to do a movie or a video, musical video here in Panama, you also have discounts if you use the country for that. And then industrial development and alliance with public and private companies for construction mainly. So if we are going to talk about immigration solutions first, the qualify for investors visa, which is the same as the golden visa that we just got explained from Portugal. In Panama, you can invest in real estate from $300,000 that are free of liens. So if you want to get a mortgage, you can have a property of $800,000, get the mortgage above 300,000, but since you already have paid 300,000, you can get the visa. If you are in the listed countries of friendly countries, then the investment will be $200,000. Then if you have a pre-sale real estate project that is not already built, you could sign a contract for the sum of $500,000 or more free of mortgage, and then get the $300,000 paid. The investment for a securities market, if you want to invest in or a security market that is called Latinx, we have different alliances with other capital markets in Latin America and also Israel. You could have an investment of $500,000. If you really like real estate, you can invest in a REIT through the security market with $500,000 and also get that migration visa. If you only want to put the money on a bank account, you can also do it, but that have to be from $750,000 and above. And if you would like to invest in a company, that will be a minimum of $750,000. So definitely what the government tried to do with this immigration qualified investor visa is getting to promote more real estate in Panama, because we have been building for the last years a lot of real estate here. So that's what makes the difference in Latin America. Then if we go to special zones, I can have that in detail and share these presentations with the organizer of this meeting because it's very in-depth, but basically what they give is migrations benefits, labor benefits, and also fiscal incentive as well. So we have private free zones. Grupo Shahani is a shareholder of the biggest private free zone in Panama. And that is ideal for manufacturing, assembly, processing of finished or semi-finished products, high technology, logistics, environmental, health, and miscellaneous services. Higher education and research centers are also allowed in this visa. Then we have Colón Free Zone, which is import and export, repackaging, storage, sales, and redistribution. And then we have Panama Pacifico, which is especially for technology, BPOs, ITOs, KPOs, and call centers, cinematographic industry, logistic, and distribution. So it would depending on what are you planning on invest in Panama or put a business, we can have a tailor-made incentive for you and take advantage of these new regulations. And EMA, which is the one I explained a little bit earlier, is for manufacturing for multinationals in particular. So basically, one of the ones that I like the most is industrial promotion, because you can even take 3 years from behind investment on the high technology, and you can deduct the price of the real estate that you're using for manufacturing in Panama. So now I would like to explain a little bit more on terms of the project that I would like to share with you. Which is Casa Real. Casa Real is a project that we have in the Riviera Pacifico, and is inside one of our mega projects, which is called Vistamar Golf Beach and Marina. Vistamar has been, it has 300 hectares, and we have been developed this project from maybe 25 years ago. Is the best project in the Pacific Riviera, especially because we have a concept of terraces, so all the houses can see the water, and that's very important for maintaining the aesthetics of the project. In this project, we have the most challenging golf course to play in Panama, and also we have one of the best marina of the Pacific, I could say, in Latin America. And also, the area where this is located is called the dry arc. The dry arc, because they normally don't get a lot of rainfalls. So basically it's very safe to buy in this zone because you could use the beach project as mainly every time of the year. As well, that we have other projects that have been developed in this zone, and you can, if you're a golfer, for example, you can play in different golf courses, around 7 golf courses in this area. So Los Cocos is a building that we start with 1 tower, and now we are launching our 2nd tower. In this tower, what we have is basically around 13 different apartments. It's not very massive. It's something that is like a 5-story building with different floor plans that are apparently from 2 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms. Some of them have 10, some of them have a deck, some of them have terraces, and some of them has a balcony. So it would depend on your likes, but basically it's very friendly project. And I'm going to show you a little bit more. So the amenities of the project is that we share a pool with a gazebo, with barbecue, but also you have kids playground. You also have a golf view and the security guards and lake view in the same project, inside the project. So when you go to Vistamar as a whole, then you can see the terraces that I was mentioning you before, and this project will be located just right here. So basically it has view of the ocean as well as view to the golf course and the lake. We are away from 90 kilometers from the city. That's like one hour and 30 minutes from the city. We also have airport that has charters from Canada and US. So basically you are very center located to different amenities and ways of transportation. This is the Casa Club that we have. It's like a membership for everybody that buys in Vistamar have the right to go to this. Also, we have restaurants in the project, as well as beach access. And we also have some amenities on terms of the payment plans. From this project and this marina, you can access different islands that are very popular in Panama, so you are never going to be bored. The payment plans that we have, you have access to use Airbnb here. So basically, short rentals is very popular in the area, as well as this. For example, if you buy one of the properties that is like around $254,000, and if you can buy it from 2-person, 3-person, or 4-person, it's like a family, friends. It's not like a timeshare because you actually own the property a year round, but if you would like to rent it for investment, then you decide how you want to do it. We don't have properties outside of Panama, so we cannot allow you to exchange properties, but it will be the same unit. And in this unit, you can also have a separation fee of, for example, 2 persons, $1,000. If you want to complete a 10% down payment, will be $11,000 per each person. And also, you can have 20% of 6 different payments of $25,000, which each quote would be $4,000 every month. And then you can have a mortgage for $80,000 as a whole. If you don't decide to use a mortgage, then we can give you 6 months of payment of that 70%, and then you would add $14,000 to the $4,000 that are above, giving you approximately $19,000 per month. So it would depend on how many people you would like to do this. You can have it, we get up to 4-person maximum. So this is one of the perspectives that we have right now launching from this new year. The property, it should be ready by January 2025. And we are very flexible on the way of payment. So basically these properties, depending on the countries that you are applying, if you are in a friendly country, this property applies exactly with this amount. If not, we have also apartment units that are 300,000 and above, And we also offer packages of furniture, starting with a $25,000 package, then $50,000 package, and $100,000 package on top of the price of the apartment. So we can get in charge of doing everything for you and list the property for you as well. So I hope this is all for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. Sounds like a wonderful opportunity. We certainly have many questions. So I'm going to turn it over to the Q&A portion now. We can go through the questions and present them to the speakers. Robin, are you on, and do you have
Yes.
a list that you'd like to present? Great. I'll pass it over to you then.
Wonderful. Thank you. Robert, there are a couple questions for you. Do the programs vary significantly, like Spain versus Panama?
In general, yes. LTVs obviously could be different. Interest rates, depending on the country, will be different as well. But the qualifying standards for us, at least all the programs that we have, regardless of what country it is a non-resident purchasing or refinancing into that country. So the overall qualifying, how it, what that loan to value is, what the specific rates are will vary, but being able to get a mortgage as a non-resident is absolutely possible.
Okay. And how can participants get specific outlines for specific countries from you?
Sure. So I can drop my email into the chat as well, but my email is, so we have America Mortgages, which is specifically focused on the US, but our global brand, which is our parent company, is Global Mortgage Group, and my email is rchadwick@GMG, so GMG Global Mortgage Group .Asia.
Perfect. And then one more question. Do you have loan programs that would qualify for Ando Living?
We actually have a very similar project, not in Portugal, but to other countries. I think what she presented is absolutely amazing, and it's becoming super popular. And we are able to finance as long as they are a certain size. So I think we would need to see what the size requirements are, but we are working with a developer not in Portugal, but in other countries that are doing that. So yes, it should be, assuming that the size is sufficient, we should be able to do it.
Thank you. Valentina, a couple questions for you. For clients that are thinking about climate change, there was a question about, excuse me, do the properties have air conditioning? And could you talk a little bit about like the updated plumbing, drainage, sewage, everything like that?
Yeah. So obviously all of the properties are equipped with air conditioning. We have, windows triple glazed. They're very, very well insulated as well. It's high level of construction, I have to say. The country, this was in the past, some centuries ago, did have some seismic movements actually in Lisbon area, and ever since all of the buildings were built in such a way that they support movement. So we were actually the most advanced in Europe when it comes to construction. That's why constructing in Lisbon is actually pretty expensive compared to other countries, because we do require a certain level of standard. Of course, all the drainage, sewage, everything is has been renewed. The city works very well. Also, in terms of climate, Portugal is amazing because it's not warm. It's not too warm in the summer. It's normally, I know in Celsius, so it's close to 30 degrees Celsius, and that is, I think, around 75 maybe. I don't know if I'm doing the conversion right, but it's a very comfortable, very nice climate. It doesn't get too cold in the winter, and it doesn't get too hot in the summer. It's because of the access to the Atlantic, so that we always have that breeze coming in. So you won't really suffer. A lot of the times we don't use AC actually during the summer, even because the temperatures drop during the night. It cools everything down, then it slowly goes up and then comes back down. So it's the most beautiful climate that you can have.
We're going to be heading there. Catherine, could we ask you the same question?
Yes, in Panama, we have a nice weather. It's hot most of the year. We only have 2 seasons, rainy seasons and summer. Basically, what we have is a rainy season from April to December, let's say end of November. And then from the December to beginning of April, it's summer. We have temperatures of 80 degrees. The difference is that in Panama, we have a lot of air conditioning everywhere. So sometimes you are more cold here than in other countries just because of the air conditioning. But the good thing is that in summer, we have a nice breeze that we call summer breeze in the evenings. So temperatures goes down in the evenings at around 70 degrees. So basically all our units, we have units that comes with air conditioning and some that they don't come with the air conditioning at the beginning, but you can add on later on. And then what we have is like, we have all the ducts already pre-established and everything for a split air conditioning. So basically for us, this is very normal. Panama also is a very new country. We got our independence in 1903. So we have a lot of new construction. Basically, so in terms of plumbing, we don't have many issues. In terms of electricity, normally when you live in an apartment building, we have electrical plants. So it's nothing that you are going to be losing your electricity or having issues with water or things like that, like in any other countries.
Perfect, thank you. And then Valentina, a couple more questions. Is there a monthly or annual HOA or assessment fee?
Okay, so this is very good news. In terms of, so if you rent your property for more than 6 months a year, so if you're spending basically less than 6 months per year in your unit, all of the fees, so the equivalent of HOA, we don't have anything like HOA, but these are condominium fees and different kind of fees that are related to the operation. They're covered by the operation itself, so you wouldn't have anything extra to pay. But if you're staying, let's say, between 6 months to 12 months a year in your property, if you're using it as a primary residence, yes, then we have an equivalent of HOA dues, but they're much lower than what you pay here in the United States. I can give you an estimate. For example, for a 1-bedroom, it's somewhere between 300 to 500 euros a month, and it includes everything, including, you have twice a week cleaning as well. There's concierge, there are people that can do everything for you. There is security on the premises, so everything is included. Obviously, depending on the typology and depending on the project, some projects have more amenities, so they're slightly more expensive, but it's nothing like you pay here in the US. So I think that the maximums that we have for these large units that we have was 1,000 euros a month with all of these services included.
Great. And last question for you. What is the minimum investment?
So the minimum investment on the annual living side, so the real estate property, depends on the availability that we have at the moment. So right now, our available properties start at 500,000 euros. So these are normally 1-bedrooms in Lisbon or 2 bedrooms in Porto, because Porto is still cheaper than Lisbon. But we generally have studio apartments. These are smaller. Normally people buy them as an investment that start at 350,000. And since this is not a timeshare, you would have to actually acquire the unit that we have available. But we do have different options for different budgets. This is very high end, where, I wouldn't say luxury, but it's between premium and luxury. So obviously the price per square meter is also high, but the services that you get as well, and the appreciation and the brand and the possibility to rent it out and the returns, they kind of compensate for that. But you can expect anywhere between 350,000, and our most expensive units, at the moment go up to 2 million.
Wonderful. Those are our questions. Thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to maybe clarify one thing, because we were talking about mortgages. So for any mortgage that, for example, American mortgage is not able to satisfy for different restrictions because it's an entity that is outside of Portugal, it is not difficult to obtain mortgage in Portugal for non-residents. Portuguese banks are quite archaic in the sense that they don't have, that complicated model. So for them, an apartment is an apartment, whether you're a resident or not a resident, they look at your financial situation, and they are able to give, you know, a loan to value up to 70%. So normally the deposits are at around 30%. So the bank would finance the remaining 70. But the good news is, even though the deposit is a little bit high, the good news is the mortgage, the rates are dropping. They're dropping by a lot in Europe. Some of my latest clients got their mortgages at 3%, and the European Central Bank has dropped the rates again. So it's most likely going to go down. So it's a good time also to get mortgage, because there's a healthy competition, you know, among banks to get, you know, to get those clients, because not many people are willing to get a mortgage under these economic conditions. So you're able to secure a good deal. So I just wanted to drop that, because it's a possibility and a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah. Thank you all. I'll let Amanda
Thank you all. Yes, thank you, Robin, for the questions, and thank you to each of our speakers. It is 11 a.m. now, and I know that we've got people joining us from all over the world, so please feel free to hop if you need to go. Otherwise, we will send an email blast to everyone with the email address and contact information of each of our speakers for you to follow up with any other questions. Again, thank you all for joining us on behalf of GBC. Thanks again, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.